Hey, Twisted listeners, I'm Cindy,
And I'm Diva.
and this is Twisted Listers, a podcast about murder.
And Liz.
I'm having the worst allergy attack of my life. I forgot to tell you before we started recording.
Oh no.
Yeah, my cat just like rubbed all over my face because he was hungry, and sometimes it doesn't bother me, and other times I feel like I'm gonna die, and I feel like I'm gonna die. But it's worth
Oh
it.
gosh.
My cat is the fucking best, so
He's
whatever.
cool.
He is. This is a new topic. Look at us being almost on time, getting back into the swing.
Almost, yeah. And I have a
Groovin'.
whole entire baby, so my life is a little bit chaotic.
Yep,
Every day babies they wake up and they choose chaos.
they
Um
do. Chaos, later violence. They
mhm,
yeah, they go through all that fun stuff. And then
yeah.
they become 8-year-olds who flip you the bird and think it's hilarious. So,
Oh man.
yeah.
Oh, the joys I have to look forward to. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, every age is a new experience.
Wow.
So this is a new topic. This is shocking confessions. And I at first was like, I want to do like witness confessions. And then we were like, there's some pretty good like other confessions, like where the killers confess. So we kind of combined them. Hopefully we get a little smattering of both.
Shocking
Um,
testimonies of various kinds.
yes, yes. But I'm very excited for this topic because I chose a couple really actually I know I chose one of each type. So I'm feeling good about the range
Mhm.
here. And the one that I chose for today, I'm super stoked on. But do we have any housekeeping? Anything we want to talk about?
Uh, no, anything true crimey
I
happened
can't
that
think of
was
shit.
interesting? I don't
Oh, the
know.
guy. There's been a few things.
Mm.
I can't. My brain is not working. So, what's the little girl's name? She was 5. Her dad was finally charged with her murder.
Harmony
Um,
Montgomery.
Harmony Monk. I was like something. I
I
wanted to say
actually haven't
Haley
followed that at
Montgomery.
all, but my mom's obsessed with it, and so I only kind of know about it because she keeps telling me about it. But I have to like catch up.
Yeah, I know we
Um.
talked about that. The driveway shooting. I always forget her name. Um, Kaylin.
Oh yeah,
Kaylin. The guy who Kaylin Gillis, the man who
you just
uh
covered her.
we did, and then I was
Yeah.
like, it was weird. The day that we recorded was like the first day of his trial, or like the second day. The trial is
Mm,
now over. He was found guilty. He was given 25 to life.
okay.
So he was given, I mean, he's gonna probably almost certainly die in prison because he's like well into his 60s at this point. So
Yeah.
there's a little case update. Um, I don't
Nice.
know. There's been a lot, but my brain isn't working right now because I'm in an allergy-induced fog.
Yeah.
So I guess we just get to the cases,
Let's
yeah?
do it. Yeah. Well, my two are very different. I was going to say this first one I'm doing today is like a solemn bummer. So I'm
Oh
so sorry.
no!
And then the second one is like wacky. I mean, it's still a murder case, obviously, but it's like
Right.
a little more like there's more fun to be had. This one is like not no
Just a
fun at all. I mean,
downer.
it's a downer, yeah. So I'm so sorry, but it's I
No, it's
wanted to
okay.
cover it.
Mine is more not I'm not gonna say like uplifting at all, but it's more entertaining today. So I'll be
Okay,
the
I'll
yin
bring
to
you
your
down, and
yang.
Cindy will pick us back up,
Yeah.
and at least we'll get to hear. I guess I do enjoy weirdly cases where it's so angering because then I know that you're always going to come through and be like angry, and like we
Yeah, oh
can
yeah.
feel that together.
Yeah,
Um,
I got
so
you.
at least we have that. Um, so this is a case of Willie Edwards Jr. and we're going to Montgomery, Alabama in 1957. So right away you kind of know what's coming. I think.
Oh,
With
yeah.
that time and that place. Um, yeah, this is kind of a type of case I don't normally love to cover, but I feel like it's important from like a moral perspective to talk about it. And yeah, um, but yeah, we're gonna talk about a lynching essentially.
Oh, come on.
I'm so sorry, Cindy, but there's a
Okay.
lot of these fucking cases, like a
I know.
lot, like billions. So Willie Edwards Jr. obviously is a black man. We were talk about. He was a husband to Sarah Edwards. They had 2 daughters, Melinda and Mildred, and Sarah was 7 months pregnant with their third child at
Okay.
the time. He worked as a truck driver. Weird tie into last week.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He was a truck
Okay.
driver for a
Okay.
Winn-Dixie supermarket in Montgomery, so he's driving the groceries around.
Hmm.
And on one random night in particular, he took a truck route from a young man who was, unbeknownst to him, wanted in a violent way by the local KKK, who in Montgomery in the fucking 50s is very fucking active.
Yes, they're
Um,
horrible.
Willie goes missing. I didn't get the date. Oh, it's January 22nd. He goes
Mm.
missing. And after basically going on his truck route, doing his job. And the truck was actually found parked. I think I have that detail later on. But his truck is later found parked. Oh yeah, with the door open and the lights on, in a
Hmm.
rural area. So it's like, right?
Not good.
Um,
We're not looking
no,
good.
it's not a normal shift for
Hmm.
Willie. His family goes out searching, and they're probably the only ones, right? Because the cops don't give a shit
Right.
at all. And his family are actually the ones who find him, his body, and he's washed up on the banks of the Alabama River, 10 miles outside of the city. And this was 3
Oh.
months after he was last seen. So he's not in great shape either. Um, Willie's wife, Sarah, would later say that she could firmly identify all the clothing he was wearing because she watched him get ready that night and she remembered every details. And she even
Ugh.
looked in his pants and saw all the stitches and repairs that she did, which I thought was really heartbreaking. Like this loving wife, like hand stitching his little like patches and stuff, right? And
Yeah,
she's
this
like,
like act of service, between the
yeah,
two. Yeah. Oof.
yeah. Um,
Ugh.
And yeah. So unsurprisingly, there's no investigation at all because he's a black man and it's Montgomery. It's 1957.
Right.
There's no suspects are identified and no cause of death either, which may have been legitimate because he was in the water for a long time. But there's certainly no like investigation of any kind.
Well, and the reason he was in the water for so long is because nobody was looking for him. So it's kind of like,
Yes, yes,
you know,
yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
exactly. They let the cause of death like get hidden.
become
Um, yeah.
unverifiable. Yeah.
His daughters remember Sarah, their mom, just like going through it, getting down on her hands and knees and screaming and crying,
Ugh.
vowing someone was going to pay, just like all these dramatic personal stories about this. But the case pretty much goes super cold,
Mhm.
obviously, with no one giving a shit. And there's 2 shocking confessions in this case. I guess maybe they're not shocking in a way, but the first confession out of nowhere comes in 1975, so almost 20 years later,
Okay.
when a suspect who's being questioned about a totally different case said that he actually witnessed 3 men forcing Willie Edwards to jump off the Tyler Goodwin Bridge just outside of Montgomery.
Oh, wow. Fuck.
Yeah. And this person identifies Sonny Livingston, Henry Alexander, Jimmy York, and Raymond Britt. So sorry, 4 men.
Okay.
And they are all, wouldn't you know it, KKK dudes. Woo!
Weird. Didn't see that
Yeah,
coming.
really
Yeah.
stand-up geniuses here. They are also suspects at this time in 1975 in the bombing of black churches in Montgomery and the bombing of the homes of civil rights activists from the 60s. So
I
that just tells
mean,
you what they're up to.
but why not? It's not like they've been caught or questioned or anybody gave a shit
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah,
started and he did this other shit, so
yeah.
it totally emboldened
So
them to keep going.
they do all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Ugh.
And just a note here, because not the first thing that will make you insanely angry in this case, but first of many. These men were all later acquitted in all of those bombing cases. So nothing comes of that.
Great. So
But
just
they're
more further emboldening
suspected.
them.
hmm
Mhm.
Later, we'll also learn that the 4 men, you know, well, let's put it this way. What happened was, sometimes I write things in a weird way.
Mhm.
Um,
I do
I've
that
kind
too.
of set it up like a mystery, and then I'm like, okay, no, here's what happened. So these 4 men targeted and abducted Willie. Again, this is not shocking to you.
No.
Um, They targeted him. Well, they targeted the wrong truck driver, but it almost doesn't make a difference. Nor would I even
Yeah,
think
it's
they
not like they fucking care.
care that
Yeah.
much. They were just like, we need a black man, right? Like they don't necessarily care.
Yeah.
But technically, it was a mistaken identity. They basically beat him up and slapped him around. They threatened to cut pieces of him off.
Jesus.
Um, at this time, Willie apparently began begging for his life, and this is heartbreaking. He begged and said that he wanted to go home to his daughters and his wife.
Oh, that's so rough.
Yep. And these men are obviously heartless, soulless, monster people. I guess it's a contradiction, just monsters. Because they actually forced him to jump off this bridge, the
Jesus.
Tyler Goodwin Bridge. Yeah.
Hmm.
Just basically like pulled a gun and said jump,
Jump.
essentially.
So it was like either get
Um,
shot or take your chances on jumping.
yeah. And this whole attack on this Winn-Dixie driver, which again wasn't even the right one, but it doesn't really matter. But it's also like, oh, well, you hate crime him or this other driver? Like it doesn't really, either way it sucks.
Yeah, I
But
don't, and also like, do you know who they were actually looking for and why?
yeah, so this is why. So they were looking for this other driver because he, and nothing is going to be more shocking to you, Cindy. I can almost guess. What do you think? Why do you think they were looking to go punish this driver? Like, honestly.
I mean, the real reason is because they're racist
No, no,
pieces of
no.
shit,
No,
but
what
like
do you think their justification was? I could honestly bet you could guess without me even saying it.
looked at a white woman?
Yeah, correct. That is it. Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
these
it's
people
not
are.
funny. It's
No, but
horrible, but like
it's
it's so
comical how uncreative and stupid these racists are at their
right.
justifications. It's like
Yes.
we heard this one 1,000 times. It's a fucking tale as old as time. It's actually a tale as old as like the 16th century, but I digress.
You're right.
Like oh, anyway, so yeah, looked wrong way to white woman. So fucking classic. How's that pizza, by the way?
Ah, I didn't know if you were gonna call me out. This is a cheesy bread, which is okay. The pizza
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying next.
Actually, you know what's funny? We talked about getting like fucking straight up Domino's today, and we didn't do it. I'm glad we didn't. Um,
Sometimes you just gotta hurt yourself, you know?
we ate healthy leftovers instead. But pizzas
Good
are
for
like
you.
pizzas in my neighborhood are $35.
Yeah, fuck that
So
shit. Mm-mm.
I gotta move.
This was like $10. Yeah.
$35 pizzas, Cindy.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Mm-mm.
so that's why we consider Domino's slumming it. Anyway.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
All right.
Okay, anyway.
So back to this horrible thing. So these four dudes were actually indicted off of this guy's testimony in 1975. Raymond Britt ends up confessing. And well, actually, I wrote this in a weird order. But anyway, but Raymond Britt testified to what I just explained. The reason I have that story about what happened is that Raymond Britt
Is
told
because
us
he straight up
exactly.
admitted it.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty much like what happened. He's not sugarcoating it. And he actually got immunity in exchange for him testifying against the other three defendants
Oh
in this
shit.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. So ultimately, you'll love this. Even though Raymond Britt puts everything on the line or whatever and like says this whole thing, he was there, he saw it happen. The judge dismisses the entire case
What the
because
fuck?
there was no cause of death on the death certificate. It was just no, it said undetermined essentially.
But that means undetermined. That means it could be
Yeah,
murder.
yeah.
God damn it.
And you'll love this Alabama judge's quote here about when he dismisses the case because and by the way this judge I'm guessing he has some motherfucking white robes in his closet. That's my guess. Just like
Yeah, seriously. Like,
I'm
I
guessing.
mean, I don't think he'd even hide it, honestly, with this kind of
No,
bullshit.
no, they're
Uh-uh.
fresh. They're fresh and pressed. They're not catching dust. They're used. So this judge said that, quote unquote, merely forcing a person to jump from a bridge might not lead to death.
But the
That's the quote.
intention is fuck this guy. What a fucking
This is a
dickhead.
tall fucking bridge. This is not like a cutesy little footbridge. This is a tall ass fucking bridge.
And
Like
also, like, attempted murder, malicious, like, I mean, come on.
assault. What
Assault. There's
about
so many things that they
something?
could be charged with.
Manslaughter.
Manslaughter is a
You
great
want
one.
you want to hit some lesser charges, fine, but they got to
But,
get
like,
something.
Don't just pretend
Yeah,
that they didn't do anything wrong. Like,
exactly.
this is insane.
You can just force people to jump off of very, very tall bridges, and it's fine
Yeah, no
because
repercussions if you're a white dude and they're black.
mhm.
Damn it.
At this point, Britt recants his confession because I guess why not? And that's that. The case goes cold again, pretty much. Um, an additional shocking, again, not shocking is used pretty lightly here, but a second confession comes in 1993 when Henry Alexander confessed that they did it. All like Raymond said, the murder is true. He participated in the murder, and he confesses it on his deathbed as he was dying to his wife. His wife then writes a letter to Willie's family detailing the whole confession, including tons of accurate details, and saying like Henry said that this happened. Da 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 da.
Holy shit. Fuck
Yeah.
that guy. I'm so glad that
Um.
heaven doesn't exist, so he just like died.
So he can't go. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So after this, the family tried to apply pressure on the authorities, and ultimately in 1987, they actually do succeed in getting Willie's body exhumed and a new medical examination performed. This examination is basically a technicality that allows the manner and cause of his death to go from undetermined to drowning and homicide, which is like fucking duh.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay, I was like ready to be really disappointed again.
So that is good because it allows, theoretically, what a judge said was a obstacle to not be there anymore. So they get
Right.
that done. But by the way, when they exhume him, his skull is missing.
What?
And the authorities claim that it was misplaced.
How and why? Like, why
um,
would it be misplaced?
yeah, things happen. Like, is it Kendrick Johnson whose like body was stuffed with straw, and his family was like, "What?" Like, these things happen, I guess, when
The
you're a black
complete,
person.
yeah, the complete disregard for your like
Mhm.
body or
Yeah,
personhood. It's just
yeah,
insane. Like,
yeah, yeah.
God, dude.
Um, so after his cause of death was changed, his murder was officially brought before a grand jury, and now they have two confessions, right? Two out of the four fucking dudes confessed, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, the grand jury officially acknowledged he was murdered, but they said they could not prosecute the remaining three dudes due to quote unquote insufficient evidence.
What is the insufficient evidence? You have two first, like, first-hand accounts of the murder. Like, that has been
That
used to convict people, like,
that
myriad
that
fucking
that
times.
corroborate each other too, by the way, like
Right. It's not even
and
like they don't
match up.
match.
They're
Like,
good confessions. Yeah.
fuck, dude.
Um. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's like there's like 15 layers of angering choices and decisions and layered on. And I'm not even done. I have like one more, I think,
Oh my God.
for you. So fast forward to 2010, the FBI reopened the investigation into Willie's murder under the Till Act. That's named for Emmett Till. And actually, a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but like compared to how many there are, but like a healthy amount of these civil rights era um, cases are actually prosecuted. Like old dudes, old KKK dudes. It does happen for like a good amount of cases, not enough, but like a healthy amount.
Not nearly
Um,
enough, but like, I
no,
guess it's something,
it's a
I
worthy effort for
guess.
sure. It's a worthy
Yeah.
effort.
I mean, it's the FBI,
Um,
so fuck them, but like, yeah.
but it's like a gesture. It's symbolic, but at least they capture a few more of these fucking dudes.
I'm just really sick of symbolic gestures. I would rather be just
No,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
No,
but
I
yeah,
know.
I get it. I get it.
So as part of this effort, they look at Willie's murder. Of the original four dudes, at this point, only Sonny Livingston was still alive. But they try and get the case started back up again. They interview Sonny here. They do a lot of research investigation. So there is a lot of work put into it. In 2013, however, the DOJ closed the case after the statute of limitations ran out on the federal charges. So I guess there's a statute of limitations for him being charged federally. But Alabama authorities were given this whole fucking dossier of evidence and this and that, fucking confessions, I'm sure. And they were given the option, like, hey, basically the Fed said, Alabama, do you want to prosecute Sonny Livingston? And Alabama said, no, no, thank you. No
Of
reason.
course.
Just
Of
like, we're
course.
good. We're good.
No. They
Um,
were never going to prosecute these guys. They could have literally like had 100
dude,
witnesses who saw them do it and they would not have prosecuted them.
I don't know if you're following the IVF shit right now, but like Alabama is fucked. Like,
Yeah.
Alabama is fucked. I'm so sorry if you live there.
Alabama.
I'm so
Alabama.
sorry if you live there. Like, I mean, there's probably been like 100, 200 years of people like fleeing that state, basically. Like,
It's such a
because
turd.
of it's so bad.
Hey, if you guys live in Alabama, you are not turds. Unless, I mean, you're not
No,
going to be listening to us if you're a turd, you know?
no,
So
it's true.
get out. Get out of there.
Just leave.
Just leave. It's not that easy. We get
Uh,
it. But like,
no, I
we wish
know,
you could.
but
We hope you can.
you should think about it. You should think about it.
Yeah.
So they opted not to not, and sadly, well, sadly for the pursuit of justice, I guess, but not for any other reason. Sonny Livingston died in 2016.
Hmm.
That's that. A few years after her husband's murder, Sarah did get remarried and moved the whole family up to Buffalo, New York, which like I just said, people are
Hmm.
fleeing Alabama right and left,
Yeah.
especially Black people. It's called the Great Migration, right?
Yep. Hmm.
This is which
Has a name, okay? It's like a
it
real
has a
fucking thing.
name, Black people, and I'm sure other people of color as well, also just like wanting to live somewhere where they were not going to get murdered. Crazy idea.
Yeah, just for like
Um,
existing.
yeah, they want to just go about their lives like normal people.
Hmm.
Um, so here's just more sad quotes from Sarah about on their son, who was born after, of course, Willie was murdered.
Right.
Quote, she says, "When my son comes to see me, he says, 'Mama, you have been my mother and my father all my life. I regret so much I never got to meet my dad.' But I tell him,"
Ugh.
this is Sarah talking, "but I tell him he had the most wonderful dad and he took care of us. We didn't have very much, but he took care of us and did everything he could possibly to make me and my two girls at the time happy. I will always miss him."
Oh,
So
that's
sad.
heartbreaking. It's fucking
She
heartbreaking.
Yeah, his daughter also said, quote, "You didn't destroy Willie Edwards Jr. You destroyed our hopes and our dreams and our love, but you didn't remove the man," which I thought was very poetic.
It is very poetic, actually. Yeah. And
Um,
good.
Lastly, Willie Edwards is one of 24 victims of lynchings and racial violence honored at the Equal Justice Initiative's new monument at the Peace and Justice Memorial Center. And he has Willie Edwards is right below his square, is right below Emmett Till's square.
That
So
sounds performative as fuck.
yeah, but actually there are really, really cool new museums and like learning centers and stuff that have popped up to I do think it's important and not just symbolic to educate people about the widespread scope of lynchings and
Yeah.
like because it's like for I guess specifically for the people who exist who are like, this country's never been racist. Hi ho, America's just the fucking best. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's actually very important for people trying to like make America sound great. Like, it's very important that that the history of lynching is like talked about.
Yeah. And
And the scope of it and the scope of the victims. Mexicans were lynched, Asian people were lynched. That people talk about the scope of it. And if there's a really cool interactive website, I should have like linked it.
not
I
too
think
late.
maybe it is this. Maybe it is Equal Justice Initiative. But there's a really cool website that has Equal Justice Initiative, lynching in America, confronting the legacy of racial terror. I believe, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Have been doing all this incredible research to uncover the histories, locations, the victims, their stories, and so many cases, like with Willie too, where there's no justice reached. It's like at least they can tell the full fucking story of what happened. Like at least they can get it out there, and
Right.
I do think that's like something.
It
Um,
is something, but it's really frustrating to see like modern day cases that are still happening
oh
with the
yeah,
same results. And then it's like, but we have a museum and it's like
no,
it
I
is
know,
something,
but
but
like
it's like I don't know. I don't know how to
no, I
feel.
mean,
I'm
ideally,
conflicted.
we would want systemic justice and the museum. But yeah, so I
Right,
understand it's like
right.
feels hollow when all we get is a museum and we have no
It
systemic like
does.
justice.
Yeah.
Um, I get it. But like also look at this map, lynchinginamerica.eji.org. Look at this fucking map too. It's fascinating because like there's some fucking places in Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. Like there's a couple places where I'm like, holy fucking shit, like the density, it's mapping lynchings by like incidents over time and like the
Hmm.
different places, and these fucking states are lynching a lot. Like,
That's so
so
rough. Yeah.
it's fascinating to know and to think about. Like, I have a question in my mind of like why that is.
Right.
um like, why is Mississippi the worst? You know?
I don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
Something
interesting
to
to me.
research for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes back
Ugh.
way back. It goes back to like the 17th, 18th century as well. Because actually, if you were, listened to a really fascinating audiobook on the history of slavery. I'm going off topic, but basically, like, if you were an enslaved African person in, like, say, South Carolina, it
Hmm.
was a punishment to sell you to Georgia or to Mississippi
Because it was
because
such worse
it
conditions.
was so much worse, and you would die within like a year.
Fuck, dude.
So even within the logics of slavery, you're better off in South Carolina.
There's a
Like,
hierarchy there as well.
yes,
Ugh, that's so
yeah,
fucked up.
it's so crazy. Like, how? Where did that start? Did just the worst people just move to that one state? Like,
Who fucking
how did
knows,
this start?
dude?
Anyway, so yeah, so that monument and all that shit was unveiled, and it honors the more than 4,000 victims of lynching in that just in the American South between 1877 and 1950. So it's not even exhaustive. That's a pretty narrow range.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So that's a really bummer of a case. That's why I said it was a bummer.
That like
Um,
brought me down pretty good, dude.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Fuck. That's okay. Like it's other people's like lives, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
Uh, you know. Uh Having to hear about it is not nearly as bad as what other people deal with, so like I'm not gonna
For sure.
complain, but god
For sure.
damn, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let me bring you back up with a horrible
And
story.
Luna, my cat, has joined me to cheer me up.
I know I saw her little face. I was like, "Hello." All right. I'm gonna bring us back up with a horrible tale that is much less. I don't know. It's still very depressing, but less so. I'm gonna
Okay.
talk about Wayne Adam Ford. Can you guess what Wayne Adam Ford does for a living?
I think he's a trucker because you
He's a
told me.
fucking truck driver. Yes.
Yeah.
So we are
And
continuing our truck driver.
also the serial killer vibe is real with that three name.
Oh yeah, Wayne Adam
Yeah.
Ford. It's a
That's a serial
very
killer. Yeah.
big time.
Oh
So
yeah.
we're just gonna jump in. We're not gonna even fuck around. We're just gonna go. On November 2nd, 1998,
Jesus.
Wayne Adam Ford walked into the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office with a woman's severed breast in his pocket and confessed to
Oh,
killing four women. I saw your face change. Yes.
casual. Very
Hmm.
casual.
Yes.
Normal.
Wayne Adam Ford was born December 3rd, 1961 in Petaluma, California. Now, Petaluma is north of San Francisco, probably not too far if anybody doesn't know. His parents divorced when he was 10 years old, and I think that messed him up a bit. He had a pretty normal life growing up, but did decide to drop out of school and join the Marines. So when he was 18, so his life was fairly normal. I think the divorce made him not the happiest kid, but not terrible. Now, when he was 18, he was hit by a drunk driver and he suffered a very severe head injury. He was in the hospital in a coma for 9 days. And when he was released,
Wow.
his friends and family said he was a very different person.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer because, like, maybe this
Head
story would
injury.
not, yeah,
Classic. Yeah.
yeah, maybe we would not be talking about him had that not happened. Now, around this time, he also had a girlfriend, Kelly, who he married when they were both 19. They did not at any point live together before getting married. And once they did move in together, Wayne's attitude toward her changed quite a bit. Kelly actually later did an TV interview with Investigation Discovery, I believe, detailing her experience with Wayne. She did this so many years later, like in the 2010s, because she was diagnosed with cancer and wanted to tell her story before she died. And she did
Okay.
die in 2020. So, what Kelly said was after they married, Wayne treated her like property. He wanted to show
Okay.
her off to his friends. She was quite attractive when she was younger. And he would make her wear sexy outfits, bikinis, around these friends, even though she was super shy and did not want to do it. He also would force her to have sex with him every single day. And even though she was saying yes, it was after hours of her saying no.
Okay.
And so it was essentially rape.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
she said that she found it was easier to just say no and get it over with than to
Ugh,
argue with him and ultimately lose. So,
gross.
yeah, pretty fucking horrifying. He was super controlling and emotionally abusive. He never physically hit her from what she said, but he was still very, very abusive. A year or so into their marriage, he was arrested while on a trip with his friends. He and one of his friends had picked up two teenagers and had sex with them. So he was charged with statutory rape.
Yeah,
He
that's
called
gross.
Kelly. He called Kelly to bail him out of prison or out of jail and had no problem telling her what happened because he didn't even consider that it mattered how she felt.
Oh
He
my
was just
god.
pissed that he got caught and he wanted her to come get him. For
Oh my
whatever
god.
reason, I know he's the worst. For whatever reason, these charges were dropped and nothing really happened there. So I don't really know. Another thing that he did to Kelly was he forced her to make wax molds of her breasts for him to keep. So there's the breast thing. There's
I'm getting Chicago
obviously,
Ripper energy here. Like,
mhm, yeah, there's a breast obsession, which is
like an
fucked up.
objectification here a little bit
Yeah,
in
big
an
time.
emphasis on object.
Yeah, yeah. So at one point, Kelly became pregnant because that's what will happen. He was so angry that he forced her to have an abortion, and he went as far as threatening her in the clinic when she expressed her reluctance to have the operation
Oh
because they
my
do ask the
god.
woman. They took her away
Yeah,
from him and were like, "Are you sure you want
yeah.
to do this?" And she's like, "I'm not
That's a
sure I want to do this."
oh my god. That's so
Yeah,
dark. That's so horrible.
yeah, really, really fucked up. So finally, after a few horrible years, not too far into the future, but Kelly left him for her coworker, Bob. And after the breakup, Wayne was a mess. He would spend most of his time stalking Kelly, going as far as following her all the way to Palm Springs, where she and Bob had moved in an effort to escape Wayne. And to be clear, this is like 600 miles. They moved 600 miles to get away from him. And he still found them and followed
Wow.
them.
Oh
Hmm.
my god.
Yeah. Now his work life, because he was still in the Marines, fell apart at this time as well. They noticed that he was missing for days at a time. They had him see a doctor, and he, was diagnosed with some, some issues. And they also sent him to Japan for a time to see if he could like get his shit together, like a change of scenery kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did not work. Things did not go well there. He was made to see another doctor and was diagnosed with adjustment reaction disorder and a personality disorder with explosive and immature features,
Okay.
which he sounds very immature, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Kelly left him for Bob, he had Bob meet them for breakfast and then asked Bob to introduce him to women with big breasts, like in front of Kelly. So he's just some fucking asshole.
Yeah, he's not hiding it. He's an open
Yeah,
asshole.
open asshole.
Yeah.
So he was shipped back to the United States and honorably discharged. And from there, he works odd jobs, everything from delivering newspapers to working in a motorcycle shop. About a year after his discharge from the army, he's arrested for robbing, raping, and beating a sex worker in Garden Grove, California.
Oh,
Even
okay.
though,
Getting local.
yep, coming down here, that's in Orange County. Even though
Yeah.
he had a previous offense, he wasn't charged with it, but he did have that statutory rape arrest on his record. He
Hmm.
was released, and they believed
Mm.
him over the woman in the sex trade.
Oh
They
my
took
god.
his word. Yep. He then gets a job as a school bus driver. A
Oh my
school
god.
bus driver. Yeah. In San Juan Capistrano. He was kind to children. And after his arrest later on, that we'll talk about, his coworkers were shocked that he was a murderer, which he was. I'm going to just tell you now.
Hmm.
From there, he made
Shocking.
friends. Yeah, just going ahead. Yeah, right. From there, he made friends to other people. He was like a nice, normal guy. And he got a job as a tow truck driver in San Clemente. So he's like circling the truck driver thing. During this time, he shot the company dog, the dog that belonged to the tow truck company.
No.
Yes. He claimed it
I
was
hate
self
it.
defense because the dog was coming after
Bullshit.
him. Yep. There was a witness who said he was just in a bad mood and didn't like that the dog was barking. So he
Hmm.
gets fired from that job, pleads guilty, and serves 1 week in jail.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry. Like
mhm.
this side rant, but like I really think animal cruelty should get like very heavy uh jail time.
Well, yeah, I agree. Not only for the fact that like you're harming innocent creatures, but who does that? This
But
kind of guy
also,
does
if
that.
you do that, there's a huge fucking chance you're harming people. Like, it's
Exact
very
that's what
goes
I
hand in
mean.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
type of
I think
people that hurt animals, like,
we should
yeah.
take all the sentencing laws that they apply to robbery, like, that I think are way too out of control, and we should put those on, like, these people.
Yeah, let's save some lives because if
Yeah,
they're shooting dogs, I'm gonna tell you right now,
exactly.
there's a good chance they're gonna become a
It
cough
can
cough serial
escalate.
killer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So he serves a week in jail, gets fired, gets another wife in 1994. He's 34 at this point, and he marries 21-year-old Elizabeth Alt.
Oof.
Yeah. They have a son together in December of 1995, and they name him Max. Things were immediately not good between this couple. When Elizabeth was 5 months pregnant, Wayne raped her. She went
Oh
home to
my
her
god.
parents after that, but eventually came back. Very on again, off again relationship. I'm sure it's very confusing to be pregnant and 21 and freshly
And
married, and then
abused and,
yeah, all,
yeah,
all
all
of these
this.
things. Mhm. So they're back together, and while they're together, Wayne forces Elizabeth to do horrible things like have sex with random men while he watches.
Yes.
Also poked her breasts with hot needles. So again, the
Oh, very
breast
Chicago
pain.
Ripper. Yeah.
Yep. Now, around this time, in addition to harming his wife, he was out and about in California picking up women in the sex trade. He would
Mhm.
harm many of these women, but none came forward. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
we all
because
know
they're
why.
sex
We don't need.
workers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. In 1996, Elizabeth left him and took their son. He moved up to Arcata. She went to Las Vegas, where her parents live. He was not allowed to see his son despite having visitation rights because Elizabeth refused to let him near either of them, which good. Go mama, you know better. Who cares what the court says? If your kid's in danger, you're in danger. Don't let that man around. So now Wayne is living by himself in a trailer and gets a job as a trucker. And this is when he starts kind of going off the rails. He gets a job as a long haul trucker with no woman at home to abuse. He turns again to vulnerable women, and now is when he starts taking things too far because he's pissed at his ex-wife. He's just mad at life, and he's a piece
Right.
of shit. So October 26, 1997, a man out on the Ryan Slough River sees what he thinks is a mannequin on the side of the river. He gets closer and makes the realization he's about to make. We all know what
Mhm.
he's going to find. But on top of finding that it is not a mannequin and in fact a person, he finds that it is only a torso with the head and limbs
Uh,
missing.
oh my gosh.
And in addition, this may not surprise you, the torso is missing its breasts.
Oh my god.
And for good measure, this
Ugh.
torso was also disemboweled.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
Not
Now the
much
pol-
left.
no, now the police are called, but like,
Oof.
how do you identify a body like that? So
Yeah.
she became the Humboldt County Jane Doe, and to this day, we do not know the identity of this woman. Now, moving forward to June of 1998, a nude body was found in an aqueduct near Buttonwillow, California. Buttonwillow is north of Los Angeles, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. This woman had been raped and strangled and was identified as 26-year-old Tina Gibbs from Tacoma, Washington. She had drug issues and was in the sex trade in Las Vegas when she went missing. And I will remind you that Wayne's ex wife and his son lived in Las Vegas. And again, long haul trucker. So definitely could have been going through that area. 4 months later, another body was found near Lodi, California. She was also nude but had clothing and other items nearby, including a bag from the Flying J truck stop. Have you ever been there?
Mm. I've been to a Flying J. I think there's
Yeah.
multiple. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a really cool concept if anybody doesn't know. They're basically like giant convenience stores that have like fast food restaurants like Subways or things like
Yeah.
that in them. Sometimes they'll have like a diner attached. They have showers. They
There's
have
one on the 5.
places. Yeah, yeah, that's where
Yeah.
this one was. Yeah, that's
Okay.
where this bag came from. They have showers. They have places where truckers can park overnight to sleep. That has, it's like lit up. I mean, not to where they can't, it's not lit in an annoying way, but it's like
Right.
safe. It's a really great kind of place for long haul truckers to stay. And it has a lot of amenities. So
Also good
anyway,
if you're just on the 5 and you fucking need to stop.
I mean, I've never showered there, but I do enjoy going in and getting beef, not beef jerky, but turkey jerky.
Yeah, weird, like, gift shop shit too.
Yeah, they have like 100 different stuffed animals and like crystals
Mhm.
and shit, like
Always
weird.
weird Christian shit too, like, always weird
Yeah,
Jesuses and yeah.
yeah. I got a really great like blanket there that has like a bear on it and like a forest in the background, and then
Exactly.
another
Perfect.
one with like a deer and like a camo kind of thing. Just very like, yeah,
Very that.
very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So anyway, she had a bag from the Flying J truck stop chain. This was the first clue where police were like, could this be a trucker? She had been dead for days before she was found, and the position of her body indicated that she had just been straight up thrown from a vehicle. Like, not
Oh my
placed,
gosh.
literally just vehicles driving by throws her out. Super fucked up. Now, this was 25-year-old Lynette White of Fontana, California. This is so fucked up. She was a mother of four who went missing
Oh.
while walking to the store to buy milk for her 9-month-old baby.
Oh my God.
Mhm. She had
That's
been
fucked
raped
up.
and strangled. Mhm. Now, about a month later, in October 1998, another body was found in an aqueduct in Hesperia, California. So we like to throw bodies in aqueducts, apparently.
Mhm.
This body was also nude, had been strangled, and one breast was cut off. She had been
Okay.
beaten, raped, and near her body, they found bloody clothing and a bloody tarp. Now, this one is fucked because she was horribly abused prior to her death,
Mm, great.
including her back being broken and her breast being removed prior to her death.
Oh my God. I've really only ever heard of that with Chicago Ripper Crew. So this is
Mhm.
like special company.
Yes, it's a very luckily not very many people do this.
No.
But this happened. And so we're escalating. We're seeing that these crimes are becoming more violent. Her name was Patricia Ann Tamez, and she was 29 years old. She was working in the sex trade to support a drug habit in Victorville, which is another kind of
Mhm.
city in that area. She had a young daughter.
Ugh.
Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, November 2nd was the day that Wayne here walked into the sheriff's station with the breast in his pocket. And October of 1998 is when Patricia Ann Temez was murdered and had her breast removed. So he has this breast for a few days in his possession.
Okay.
And November 1st, he goes to a bar. He meets a woman named Sandy. The two drink and chat, they get along. But when Wayne offers her a ride home, she declines, which very good fucking call.
Whew. Yeah, maybe a spidey sense was tingling, perhaps.
Yes. And I think that in addition to saving her own life, she also set things in motion because he
Mm,
was going to murder her. He didn't get to. Instead, he stays at the bar, gets more drunk, and starts being real dramatic about how much he hates his life.
okay.
Now, Wayne has a brother. I think he has a few or a couple. And he calls his brother Rod and he tells him, I need you to come be with me. Rod lives 5 hours away. But Wayne
Okay.
is so fucked up on the phone that Rod is like, okay, I'm going to make the drive. So
Wow.
he drives to meet Wayne, picks him up early in the morning. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. They go to a hotel, they pass out. The next day, they drive around, they reminisce about their childhood. And Rod's like, what's wrong? What's going on? Wayne finally tells Rod that he had, quote, hurt people and was afraid he would hurt more people. Now,
Okay.
after hours of counseling, Rod convinces Wayne to go to the sheriff and confess his crimes. And when he did show a really high level of remorse. And you can watch him, like his confessions. And I will say, when watching his confession videos, he makes sure to mention, boo hoo, poor me. I'm going to tell you what I did, and then you guys are going to kill me. So he's
Right.
crying for himself, you know.
Classic.
Uh,
Yeah. He's
yeah,
sorry that, for himself only, not for the
yeah,
victims.
yeah. So
Yeah.
during his confession, he tells of how he dismembered the Humboldt County Jane Doe in his bathtub, then kept
Oof.
dumped her body after keeping parts of her in the fridge for a year.
Oh my
So,
God.
well after the torso was found, he still had parts of her, which is
Wow.
fucking insane.
Okay.
Yeah. He said that
Got a
she was a
breast in his
hitchhiker.
pocket, just like
I
body
know.
parts everywhere. Yeah,
Everywhere.
with
I
this
know.
guy.
This guy is real fucking out there.
Ugh.
So he said she was a hitchhiker that he picked up in Eureka and that he, quote, accidentally killed her and, quote, blacked
Mm,
out. And then
mhm.
somehow she died. Whoops. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
So he tells about all these, murders. But police need evidence because obviously if he just recants, like, that's it. So they search his house. They find a ton of evidence, including flying J bags, as well. Oh God. Ugh. As I'm sorry, this is so fucked up. They find a can of rendered fat, which is thought to be the fat from the Humboldt County Jane Doe's breast that he kept in a can.
Okay, but
Mhm.
when you say rendered, do
Like
you
he
mean like,
cooked it down.
yeah, you
Like,
mean cooked?
yeah, yes, I do.
Ew. Was there
Mhm.
cooking? Was there cooking happening? Was he using this fat?
I I don't know. I
Because
haven't
like
read
when you
anything
keep
that
a cup
indicates
of
it.
like cooked bacon fat, rendered bacon fat, that is for cooking.
Right, right.
You
I
use it.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
really want to put my mind to thinking about the possible uses. It was
okay.
enough fat in it that I would like to believe that he just left it in the can and just, like, had it. I mean, that's fucking
That's
bad
so
enough.
gross. It's
I
so
know.
gross.
It's so fucked. He was arrested November 6th, 1998. He was arraigned and complained to the judge that he wasn't given a lawyer despite asking for one. So when he was given a lawyer, he immediately pleaded not guilty, and his lawyer tried to have the murder charges thrown out. Or murder charge, I should say, because there was only one at the time. The reason being, at that time, you could only charge people for the murders that happened in that jurisdiction. So, like, if he killed people in like different jurisdictions in California, he would have to be charged in each area.
Okay.
They can't just all be charged together. But
Okay.
thanks to Wayne here, there was a serial killer law passed just a few months later that allowed prosecutors to charge somebody with multiple murders, regardless of the location, as long as they could prove they were connected. So if you're a serial killer, you can be
Right,
charged for
right.
all
You
your
get
crimes at
yeah,
once.
there's the loophole. Fair
Yeah.
enough, yeah.
And Mr. Wayne here, right around the year 2000, ushered in that law, which was not a
Okay.
law prior to then, which is kind of crazy. So anyway, he goes to trial, or he was going to go to trial for the one murder, but then he went for all of them in San Bernardino County. That judge ruled that most of his confessions could be used in court despite them being obtained without him having a lawyer. But it still took until March of 2004 for his trial to begin. Finally, in June of 2006, after a long trial with testimony from many people, including his ex wife and many women from the sex trade who had been abused by him, he was found guilty on all counts. He was given the death penalty,
There we
which,
go. And I think I remember his little picture from the death row lineup.
yeah, yep, his
Yeah.
weird, like, he's got like duck lips. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, in California, the death penalty is pretty much symbolic, but he is
Yeah.
on death row. He did an interview from death row after 18 years, so like pretty recently, and he said, "I'd rather be dead than on death row because I'm in solitary 23 hours a day and I hate it." To which I say, "Good, fuck
I
you."
mean, listen, dude, like we're not gonna
Mhm.
feel super bad.
Boo fucking who is all I have
I'm
to say.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
feel bad.
yeah. Fuck,
Go hang
fuck
out with
him.
Scott Peterson and go hang out with fucking
No,
Charles Ng.
Scott Peterson's not on death row anymore. Remember?
Oh yeah. Okay, well go
He's
hang
in
out with
Gen
Charles
Pop.
Ng then. Yeah.
Yeah, your buddy Charles, who's as big a piece
Yeah.
of shit as you are. Yeah,
Ugh.
so there it is. Walked into a sheriff's office with a breast in his pocket that was not his own. Fucking
Wasn't
crazy.
there a case from like Florida man we did with the ear in a pocket?
Hmm. Yeah, people putting
Was that-
body parts in their pockets are weird.
And
I
there's
don't know how
only
I
so
feel about
many
that.
that fit in pockets. I mean, the guy from the bus famous bus case in
Hmm.
Canada, he had eyeballs in his pocket.
Yeah, dude. That I
So
feel bad. That was a terrible fucking case all around. Everybody,
yes,
that was a rough one.
he's out
But
though.
anyway, I know. I don't know how I feel about that.
It is strange, but Canada actually likes to rehabilitate mentally ill people, so they
It
say.
seems, yeah, and it seems like he is. Like, he's been out of the
Yeah,
news, he hasn't done anything, I'm sure
yeah,
they're keeping
yeah.
an eye on him. I don't hate
I'm
it, I'll
more
say.
comfortable with him being out than Carla Homolka.
Fucking A, right? Jesus.
So if I got to pick.
Yeah, well, too bad you don't get to and they're both out. God damn it.
Actually, that's technically a list we haven't done, or have we? Of like just people that are out, like people that are fully not like free. We did like exonerated, and we did but like people who just are amongst us.
Out
Did
in
we
the
do that?
world. I don't think we did. We may have done some iteration of it, but we can do it again.
Yeah, we got close. We got close.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, there it is. First two cases. Ugh. Uh, yeah. Mine was a little bit more entertaining, at least, right? Like it was
Yeah.
not just fucking depressing, but also
Yeah.
really weird that he like walked in and confessed and was like crying and then pleaded not
It is
guilty. I
weird.
don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's in prison for the rest of his life, and we'll be back soon with two more stories, and hopefully more to report on our personal lives, which are, as far as I can tell, pretty fucking boring. But
No.
I mean, you're never a dull moment, but also like, you know,
Yeah.
not a lot going
You
on.
know. No.
Momming and true crime, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks guys for listening. Please like, rate, review. We have some new patrons. I'm going to tell you right now, patrons, I fucking suck at sending stickers, and my mailman fucking sucks at sending them because I will put them out there and then I'll find them in a puddle outside my house 3 days later because he
Blame
knocked them off instead of taking them. But I will
blame
get
the
them out to
mailman.
everybody.
Yeah.
I am blaming the mailman, god damn it.
No, I'm
But
not saying
also
you
I
shouldn't.
fucking,
I was saying
oh yeah,
emphatically blame
yeah,
him. Yeah.
yeah, fuck him.
You should.
But also I'm just bad at it. So for our new patrons who have joined, I will get those out to you guys. We love you. Thank you for your support. And until the next half of this list,
Stay.
off our
Yes.
list. That was tired. Okay.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.